Welcome back. So today's topic is how landlords today can profit from historic renters nation. All right, here we go. Rents rise when the American dream becomes unaffordable. Here's the home ownership rate. I think it's going to go down to below 60%. On a historical basis, typically is 65% homeowners and 35% renters. Until now, you see this trend has gone down drastically in this past year or so. It'll continue to drop, in my estimation. Okay, back in 2020, it was a higher level, almost 68%. Now, I believe it's gonna, in the next few years, it's gonna go down below 60%. Why? Because this is a historic forever is renters eat upon us. The rise of forever renters, 35% plus is a new mortgage payments now. Okay, it has skyrocketed in the past few years because of affordability. Home affordability, skyrocketing home prices, elevated mortgage rates, and the wages have not caught up with all these skyrocketing trends. Buyers today need at least $116,000 to afford a typical home. However, today's median household income is only $83,000. So there's a shortfall of a whopping $33,000 in salary and income to afford. Therefore, more renters are staying longer in the rental pool for 5+ more years, as you can see on these trends from 2006 to 2013 to 2019 to 2022 and 2023. We have seen a 27.8% increase in renters who are staying for less than 5 years. Now it's more than 5 years at a rate of 33.6%. Okay, so home ownership rate in the U.S. back in 70s, 1980s, or fairly high. Then it went down to 1990s. Then during the housing crash, we have seen home ownership rate increased. Then since then, from 2005 to 2015, the following 10 years, home ownership has decreased and went back up during the pandemic. Now, since the pandemic, in the past 5 years, the home ownership has decreased pretty substantially for the reasons we just stated. Furthermore, the average annual homeowner cost on top of a mortgage, on top of a mortgage, which is principal and interest. On top of that, you have homeowners insurance has increased dramatically in the past few years. Property taxes has increased due to the skyrocketing of home prices increases, right? Then, of course, housing stock is getting old nationwide, and there are many old houses throughout the country. So therefore, homeowners need more money to renovate their very old houses. And of course, because of the whole old housing stock that exists nationwide, we have homeowners have to incur more maintenance costs, right? Maintenance costs. And utilities keep on going up due to inflation. And these numbers, is based on $300,000 in coverage. Okay, the source is bank rate. All right. So, more income for investors. We've all heard the saying, American dream is to own a home. But lately, more and more Americans are waking up to a very different reality. According to a recent analysis of Dollars and Data, the dream of home ownership is slipping further out of reach for millions. And when buying becomes unattainable, what's the next best option? Renting long term. Let's be clear. This is not a temporary blip. We're living through an affordability crisis. Home prices have skyrocketed. Mortgage rates have nearly tripled from pandemic lows. Mind-boggling. Wage growth just hasn't kept up. The typical monthly mortgage payment on a medium price home now eats up 40% of the median household income, the highest ratio since the early 1980s. Now, as always, we ask the question, compared to what? If owning is unaffordable for millions, what do? They rent. And they rent for longer. That drives stronger rental demand, which pushes rent up even if home prices stagnate. This is what I call the investor sweet spot. You see, when the real estate market cools off due to affordability issues, rents often heat up. Why? Because housing is a basic need. When people can't buy, they rent. It is that simple. The Federal Reserve may not be cutting rates anytime soon, which means affordability issues won't resolve overnight. But here's where our investors has an edge. Rents are sticky. They don't drop quickly. In fact, they usually rise. Inventory is low. Builders haven't caught up since the Great Recession. Demographics are strong. Millennials and Gen Z still need places to live and they can afford to buy. So, if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right time, let me remind you there's no perfect time, only perfect strategy. Income property remains the most historically proven asset class in the world. When you lock in your 30-year fixed rate financing today and collect rising rents tomorrow, you are using inflation to build real wealth. Ready to ride the waves? And ride it with us. Join our network, Real Estate Network. We help investors nationwide, mom and pop investors, turnkey investors to buy turnkey cash flow, entry-level homes, new construction in the growth markets in the U.S., in Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Alabama, and upstate New York. All right. So if you're interested in more information, please contact me, and also join up for our network. Put your email into our website under the description so you can become a free member of our real estate investment network, so you can receive free real estate contents into your email inbox every single week to talk about education, investing, and investment opportunities. With that said, now is a great time, as I recap, now is a great time to be a landlord. Okay, and that's where we come in. We help real estate investors to buy cash flow investors so you could achieve long-term wealth for yourself and your family. Thank you so much. This is Si Wing Yi. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.